Alrighty, hey folks, we'll get started in a couple minutes. Go ahead and enter in our giveaways for today. Alright, looks like it's 1 o'clock, so it's time to get started. Welcome again, everyone. My name is Black6, and today we are starting our build of this ginormous set. I guess this is by far the biggest one we've built in quite a while. Maybe since the last Ninjago city set we did. 3,292 parts. It's no laughing matter here. So we're definitely not finishing it all today. Yeah, I've been looking forward to this one. Many thanks to LEGO for sending it to us so we could go ahead and build it. And I know there were some mixed reviews when the set first came out, so I'm curious to see how it stacks up. Personally, if you guys have watched our streams over the years, I do enjoy a good Star Wars UCS set. Been fortunate enough to add quite a few to my collection, both courtesy of LEGO and through my own means over the years. And we'll see how this one ends up. Looks like, quite a lot of interesting techniques and angles here. Right, like this whole thing here is all built on an angle. You can see how nicely it's going to line up with those wedge plates. Of course, the wings are at an angle. We've got like the balls, the gunner turrets coming out. So lots of interesting techniques, I'm sure. And I feel like one of the things I did see talked about was like just how empty the troop bay is back here. But to me, that is just like all the more impressive of a technical feat it's going to be to make the entire model sturdy while having things this hollow in the back. So yeah, I can't even fit the whole box in frame right now, but you can see if I have to lift it up, and it's a heavy box. So yeah, you can see 75309, 3,292 parts, 18 and up. Retails for $350, so obviously an expensive set, and then you have to be like, well, it's not even, quote, 10 cents per part, which is, of course, what a lot of fans look for better or worse. I think it is still like a nice kind of quick rule of thumb, but you do have to then think about some of the, other things that go into it. Like with this set specifically, we've got, the gunner turrets and the cockpits that are printed parts that are not going to be used like for anything else, probably. Like they're not going to appear in any other sets, so they are already probably expensive elements because they're trans clear, and then they have to have a unique print on them. So I can see why that's going to add to the overall cost of the set. And I'm sure there's other things like that, other large pieces, right? Those are going to cost more. So we'll see when we get done. what we think of the value of it overall. Let's flip it around. Hey there, Toa Pie. What game are you playing? Hopefully it's a fun one. Alright, so from the back we can see that it does also include a display stand that mounts the set at an angle, so that's kind of another cool thing. Not the first time we've seen that in a UCS set, of course, but nice to add like a bit of dynamic posing to it. And it comes with Mace Windu and a clone, I think it's a clone commander. I think that was another thing that caused some issues in the community, is that it was a clone commander, not even a clone pilot, although I could be misremembering. Although I have watched, all of the Clone Wars, I was a little out of the age range that really kind of got super obsessive with all of the markings of the individual clone troopers. So I know that there is quite a variety and they do mean different things, but I won't pretend to know exactly everything. Risk of Rain 2, haven't heard of that one, but I hope you're doing well, at least. Let's see what else we've got on the back here. So you can see the set is over 2 feet long and 15 inches high, so definitely going to be a big one. Gonna have to figure out where I'm going to display this. If you saw on social media, it was kind of between this and the new Batman tumbler. I'm not sure where I'm going to display that one either, so it was kind of a high risk, high reward thing with building either one of these, but at least I'm going to have probably at least 3 weeks to figure that out while I'm doing that. So we got some shots of the ship from Attack of the Clones, Star Wars Episode 2, where it first appeared. I do like that the chat's kind of hiding it there. Here we go. They actually show like a side-by-side comparison of how closely accurate it is to the movie representation. So it's kind of an interesting thing. And from that angle, it does look pretty darn good. So I'm looking forward to it. All right. So that's the box. It's a box. Lots of cool stuff on it. But let's go ahead and open it and see what we've got inside. Yeah, the tumbler does look good. I'm looking forward to that. That may be our, well, after this, we'll probably do a couple smaller builds first. Can't even see what's in here. All right. And then we'll get to the tumbler. All right, I was expecting that box within a box, and if past builds have taught us anything, all of these smaller numbered bags are going to be in this box within a box, because it would make too much sense otherwise to have all the small number ones be easily accessible. Not sure I'll ever understand why LEGO does that, but it's the thing they do. All right, now that the box is out, we can tilt this down. Oh, you were building the new Technic Batmobile yesterday. Nice. I've seen some good things about that. Everyone kind of says that tends to look better in person than in the pictures. Probably because it's all black, so it doesn't really do well in photographs. All right, so here we go. Here's some of those turret domes. And then, of course, the UCS plaque. Not looking forward to that sticker. All right, so I'm going to go through all of these and then get them out of here so I can open the other box and have space for that. All right, so it looks like this one has got bags 10 through 17, 17 being the display stand. So in here are going to be bags 1 through 9. And then of course, each number has multiple bags in most cases. So I'm gonna get those out of here, otherwise they're just gonna take up too much space while we're building this, and we're definitely not getting to them today anyway. Remember when I used to do like, I'm not sure what my record was, but like 6-hour builds to try to get a giant set like this done in a single day. It was not an overly smart thing to do in retrospect. I just remember I always ached so much afterwards from sitting for so long. Alright. And yeah, there's one thing you reminded me, Tove Pie, when you said you can't believe how big this set ended up being. This set was actually designed based on a fan vote, which again was a bit of a contentious thing. What were the other options? It was like the Nebulan B frigate, I want to say, and a TIE bomber. Those are the three things people were voting on. And then this one out. That is a beefy instruction book. Hey there, Aaron. 6 hours of fun doesn't seem like a bad idea to me. I mean, I think it's one of those it all depends things, right? Like you say 6 hours of fun, but there's a difference between like 6 hours of building when you can take a break and get up whenever you want, and 6 hours of building when you're doing it like live on camera and you're trying to do a somewhat decent job. I'm not saying I always do a good job on my streams, but you know, doing a decent job of being kind of a little entertaining and continuing to engage with the audience. I think they're very different things. If I was building this just for fun, then yeah, I could sit down over the course of the day and like build a couple bags, take a break, and kind of do it on and off for a while, but a little different when you're doing it live. Alright, so here we go, bags 1 through 9. Got another bag of extra parts with the cockpit pieces and some more of the domes. So you get quite a few of these domes. So at least they got their money's worth with that unique print. Also have a couple of really long Technic axles. Don't have like a tape measure handy, but these look like they are maybe like 32 module long axles, which I know we've seen in the past. It's really interesting that these are actually bent. So you can see I'm holding them tight here, and they are splayed out. I'm not sure if that was because of the box or the manufacturing process or what. Hey there, Borak1, Ponrock 2. So excited to build this one yourself. Yeah, it is a cool ship. And I do agree. I hope that we get more prequel UCS sets. Hey, Ari, good to see ya. I'm glad that you did not knock over any mocks at Bricks Cascade last weekend. We kept expecting it to happen, but it did not. Alright, so we've got our stickers, we've got our UCS plaque, and then the rest of the stickers are actually on trans clear backing, which is nice. You know, it makes it a little easier to apply them. It means less color matching and stuff, but quite a few. Of course, we've got the Republic insignia, and then like a lot of some stripes and panels and stuff like that. All right. So we've got our massive instruction book. Let's see how many pages. It's okay, Ari, my mocks aren't fragile because they suck, so I don't have to worry about you knocking them over. Alright, so spoiler alert, we've got 915 steps, and, oh, no, maybe a little more? Nope, 915 steps on 538 pages? Yeah, 538 pages of instructions. So, you know, we're definitely going to be at this for a while. Ari, you're so storky. All right. Oh, I think of the people here, you're probably going to be the only one who gets that, but we had a great time with that last weekend. Bricks Cascade in general, fantastic. It was their 10th anniversary and 10th event. Normally that doesn't really actually happen because the 10th anniversary of the first event will be the 11th event, but thanks to the pandemic, those happened to line up. And I had not been to Bricks Cascade since their very first event in 2012. So I made my triumphant return after a decade. Portland, still an awesome city. Highly recommend you visit both the city and Bricks Cascade if you have a chance. Lots of good creations. Bionicle had a fantastic presence thanks to the Bionicle convention circuit and some of the great builders who attended. So it was definitely good seeing everyone and getting out to another convention. Yeah, had a great time. Definitely suggest you go to Portland. All right, let's get ready to do our picture-in-picture. Yes, Topai, you do need to do a mech in a building. Well, I guess you don't need to, but there is still time. And right after, or I guess technically we were still at, I was still in Portland. I guess Bricks Cascade had ended, but word broke that Todd from Brick Fair is doing a Brick Fair Pennsylvania this year. So we are going to be adding another event to the convention circuit. So even if you haven't sent anything yet, you'll still have 2 events to display at, both in Virginia and Pennsylvania. All right, there we go. So let's see what we've got in here. Take a look, because there's usually some interesting stuff. Are there dates for Pennsylvania yet? Yes, it should be up on the website. It's like the end of September, I believe. Yeah, that's unfortunate, Ari. Someone was telling me that you tried to make it happen, but couldn't. Hopefully next time. But you better be at Virginia so you can knock over all the mocks. All right, so like we were talking about, the winner of the contest on the fan vote on LEGO Ideas. That's why this set is a thing. Meet the model designer, Hans Burkhard Schlomer. So there is Hans with Jens Kronwald Fredriksson, who's I think the design director and creative lead for LEGO Star Wars. So awesome. A little bit of background on them. Some talk about the Clone Wars. Oh, cool, we got some nice pictures of this, probably from one of the Incredible Cross-Sections books from the look of it. Those things were always awesome. Or like the guide to vehicles and vessels. So a little bit of background on it. If only this set came with a bunch of appropriately scaled clone troopers. I feel like the Technic Fig size would be really good for that, but unfortunately we don't get that. Design details, man, there's a lot before we even get to the building here. Origin of clone troopers, and how to use a brick separator. All right. Man, there's going to be a lot here. So let's not dilly-dally and get ourselves started. Yeah, but I think Bionicle at Bricks Cascade had like the most mocks of any theme. we're definitely really tight on space. Not that we have like, you know, as much as we have in Brickfield, Virginia or anything like that. But they did not expect the turnout they got for Bionicle, that was for sure. And that was, you know, in large part, of course, DVD, Pat was there as always. He's actually one of like a dozen or so people who's been to every Bricks Cascade event. So he had, you know, all of his awesome, well, not even all of, he had to keep some back at home just because we were so short on space. And then we had, started trying to look for parts and build. We had some other local builders, you know, Jason, XCCJ was there, who's been to almost, or I think, yeah, no, I think he was one of the other people who had been to every Bricks Cascade. And then it like just so happened that Optimus Convoy had a business trip to the Portland area right before and was able to just stay out there a few days longer to display, and of course he brought his mocks. Grayson, Steve the Squid made the trip out. And then, of course, I had all the convention, well, not all the convention circuit stuff. I had the convention circuit stuff I could fit in a check bag and my carry-on. Primarily focusing on our Mecha versus Kaiju collab, which unfortunately, due to the, like they had us with double deep tables, it did not display quite as well as I would have liked. I'm sure in Virginia it'll definitely be fantastic. Then there were quite a few others. I definitely tried to feature as many people as I could on Instagram, so you can head over to BZPgram and see all those awesome Bionicle creations that were there. So big shout out to everyone who came and brought their creations. Had quite a few Lego Masters contestants there, showing off their builds and just hanging out and having a good time. The public really loved seeing them, so that was cool. I'm sure that will be like a regular occurrence for conventions for years to come now. Someday you'll go to something, but right now your job situation makes it a bit hard. Yeah, unfortunately, it can be difficult with different work situations. I definitely get that. I know that I am fortunate with my situation that I get plenty of time off from work to be able to come to shows like Brick Fair. You're looking for, yeah, that's the worst, right? When you just like, you finally get a new job or something, and it's like, hey, can I take off a week to go to a Lego convention? I know when I got I was getting a new job out of college, and I was starting at the beginning of July, and of course Brick Fair, Virginia is the end of July. And so I just told them straight up, like, hey, I know I'm not going to have like any earned time off by the time this happens, but I already have this trip planned. So you cool with that? And thankfully they were. So yeah, after like 3 weeks on my new job, I took a week off to go to Brick Fair. Yeah, sucked that I didn't have time off, so it was just kind of like taking time off without any pay. But I think it was worth it to continue my streak of not missing any Brick Fairs. But if you do find something to apply, that's definitely an option, right? Like, I think most employers should be pretty understanding of that, right? If you come straight in, like, be like straight up and be like, hey, appreciate the job offer, I'm willing to start whenever, but I do have something already planned. Usually they're okay with that. If they're not, you probably don't want to be working there for a long period of time. Yeah, sometimes you just need to pay the bills. Totally get that, but you also have to consider your long-term happiness. Starting to get some bowing in all of these plates we're attaching, so I'm going to periodically try to just flip this over and try to get it as flat as possible. So another thing that I was able to do at Bricks Cascade is I found someone who was selling the one Lego Architecture Skyline set that I've been missing for a lot, you know, much more than retail, but it was still below average Bricklink and eBay prices. So I bit the bullet and I picked it up because I just had that one gap in my Architecture Skyline collection. So I'm like, all right, we need to make this happen. So that might be the build we do after this one's done. We'll have to wait and see. All right, so we've got all these trans clear boat bottoms that were, I guess this is going to be the bottom of the gunship. Nothing else is going on below this. So this will be so we can just rest it on a flat surface and it can kind of glide around a little bit. Swoosh without leaving the ground. Alright, now it's all nice and slidey. Now we start getting some Technic in already. Clearly there's going to need to be a lot of Technic in this set to keep it sturdy enough to support its own weight. Got some big hinge plates here. Guess those might be for the back ramp. I'll have to wait and see. I think it would probably be be a hot minute before we actually build the ramp. I'm guessing since we're adding some dark red in here that at least some of this is going to be visible in the final model. Obviously we've got the hole here, the two here that will be for the stand later on. So already kind of getting the groundwork for that, but I assume that stuff's going to be visible. So this is probably going to be, I guess, like the floor of the troop bay. Got a lot more dark red tiles that it looks like we're going to be putting in. So I'm guessing that's we're going to be like kind of making a little bit of a mosaic here with all these tiles to make a place for the non-existent clone troopers to stand. So what does everyone think of the DeLorean set that was announced this week? I know the internet was in quite a tizzy over that one, especially since it was rumored quite a while ago. I think it was like rumored for last year. The rumors started coming out, and it took until now to actually materialize. Yeah, your fiance is a big Back to the Future fan, so of course then the question is going to be which version are they going to build, right? Because you can build it from any of the 3 films. Yeah, I just somehow missed that bandwagon. The whole Back to the Future thing. Like, I remember the second and third movies coming out. I forget when the first one came out. I forget if I was alive or not. Yeah, I assume I was, but I don't remember that specifically. I remember the second and third, mainly, like my biggest memory. That does not surprise me there, Ari, because they are old movies at this point. Like, my memories of the second and third coming out, because they were filmed at the same time, I remember that, like, retroactively, I didn't know that at the time, was the McDonald's Happy Meal toys for those movies. So I remember the Happy Meal toys, but I don't really remember the movies. I definitely, like, didn't go and see them in theaters or anything like that. I'm not even sure that I have seen any of the movies, like, entirely straight through. I've, seen bits and pieces as they've been on TV over the years, like, growing up, right? They were always a thing as I was growing up, but it was just never like, yeah, let me just go sit down and watch Back to the Future. So I was always aware of them, but never really into them. So while I think it's a cool looking set, I just have like no nostalgia for it. Oh, Laserdisc. Nice. I don't think I've ever seen a movie on Laserdisc. I don't think I ever knew anyone growing up who had a Laserdisc player. Alright, Laserdiscs are like analog DVDs, just in case you were wondering. Okay, didn't put that in the wrong spot. Do my best. Yeah, Alien I did see, but it wasn't until I was older. I think the first Alien movie I saw was Alien 3 or 4. Whichever was the one that Joss Whedon wrote. I think that was the one with like the hybrid queen that was like part human, or it was like part Ripley or something like that. It was a weird one. It was a weird one to be my first Alien movie. It was one of those things where, again, like, growing up, those movies had always been around, but I was, like, too little for the longest time to see them. And so finally my parents were okay with me watching that kind of stuff, and so I watched, like, whatever the newest one to come out was. You're one of us. Oh, I don't know about that. Well, at least you do remember Blockbuster existing. I remember before Blockbuster was a thing. You had to go to like your private video rental store. That's interesting. I thought this was going to be where the stand goes, but we've got some Technic beams going on. We do still have that one. Maybe just because of how it's angled down, it just has like one spot to lock in on the stand, and the rest just kind of rests on there. I think we've got a long way until we figure that out, though. Considering I think the stand is bag 17, which is the last one. Yeah, I'm definitely glad I gave the Alien franchise a second chance after seeing the fourth one. I think it was, because the first two were just so widely praised that eventually I'm like, all right, I need to give myself, give these another chance. It can't be all bad. People starting with the fourth Star Wars and not getting turned off to the franchise. I think it's a bit different with Star Wars in that, like, a lot of the kids who saw the prequels first didn't know how much better Star Wars there was out there. He says as he builds a spaceship from the prequel series. Alright, that is it for bag one. Still got our brick separator, which of course we got to do something with. Stick it in our brick separator cup. Best part of waking up, brick separators in your cup. Name that 90s jingle. Yeah, I think if you go into the prequels not knowing any better, you'll probably enjoy them. Unless you're like, if you somehow had like missed the original Star Wars movies, and then you're like an adult who had like grown up watching movies in the 70s and 80s, and then saw the prequels as your first Star Wars, you might not like them. But I think, from a kid's perspective, they are still fun movies, even if some of the acting is really bad. And of course, these days, the special effects in those movies do not hold up nearly as well as the more practical effects of the original trilogy. It's just an awkward time in movie making. And they're like, we can do so much with computers, but can you really, though? Chat, say. Didn't start with the prequels technically, but they came out when you were pretty young. Love them and still do. I mean, nothing saying you can't, right? Like, to each their own. You gotta enjoy what you enjoy. I think the last time I tried watching the prequels was when the sequel trilogy was coming out. I forget if it was for episode 7 or 8, but I went back and was like watching all of the movies, to get in the mood for the new ones coming out, and still definitely don't like the prequels nearly as much as the original trilogy. But I think now that we have the sequel trilogy, I can say that I like the prequels more than I like the sequel trilogy. Although, man, that writing in Revenge of the Sith, still not a fan of it. I think the best thing that happened to the prequels was the Clone Wars animated show. But to like tell someone, hey, I know you don't like the prequels, but watch these 7 seasons of an animated TV show and they'll make them better. That's a big ask. Yeah, I mean, I don't think the sequel trilogy was as bad as some people want to make it out to be, for sure. But the fact that, like, they've pretty much come out and said it at this point, that they didn't really have, like, a plan for all 3 going into it, like, it just shows so much with how inconsistent like the stories are from film to film. Like, you can say a lot of bad things about the prequels, but they had a clear story arc that they were going for, you know, without a doubt. And while I still hate in episode 3 how quickly Anakin seems to go from like not being sure about Palpatine to swearing his allegiance to the dark side, I still think that happens way too fast. At least like that was clearly part of the arc, even if it could have been done a little more elegantly. And then that's one of the things that, of course, like the Clone Wars TV show kind of helps build up more, kind of giving Anakin a little more like baby steps to the dark side, like hinting at it here and there. Oh yeah, there we go. Toapai saying pretty much what I was just talking about, how it's like, yeah, they're making it up as they went along. I mean, it's like it's Star Wars at this point, right? Like, it's not like you have to be worried about, oh, are we gonna be able to make, you know, another movie? It's like, you're Disney, it's Star Wars. If you want to make another movie after this one, just make it, right? Like, come up with a plan and stick to it. But no, it's yeah, just so all over the place. Part of me is still wondering if we're ever actually going to ever get another Star Wars movie. Because you're talking about Rogue Squadron there, but I'm pretty sure Patty Jenkins said like that's on a undetermined like pause, right? Like I love that that was announced too. I think it sounds awesome, but I'm pretty sure like because of other projects she's working on, like yeah, I'm not sure when I'm going to be able to get to this. And like that's the only one that we've ever heard anything concrete about. And then I think I saw some more rumors this weekend that Damon Lindelof is supposedly been tapped to work on a Star Wars movie, which would be cool, but like, are we ever going to actually see it? Like, remember when the Game of Thrones people were going to be working on a Star Wars movie? And then, like, just quietly, that didn't happen. You know, we're gonna get an Obi-Wan movie and a Boba Fett movie, and none of those happened. Instead, we got some TV shows, which were okay. Well, don't know about Obi-Wan yet, but Book of Boba Fett was okay. But I feel like that might be their thing. It's just like, hey, well, let's just keep making TV shows. Gets people to continue, like, keep subscribing to Disney Plus, not canceling their subscription. And we're going to get a lot more money from that, you know, whatever it ends up being, $10 a month Disney Plus subscription every month, than we are from, like, going to see a movie once in theaters. I wouldn't be surprised if that is, like, the new normal for stuff. As much as I want to see Star Wars on the big screen again. Was Anakin the chosen one because he kills Palpatine in the end, or because he says nah to the Jedi Code and has a universe-saving baby? Or was the chosen one a false prophecy? And I'm looking forward to your YouTube video essay going into depth on that, Ari. I'm sure you could definitely interpret that in many ways. And while George Lucas may have had an intent, right, like that goes out the window as soon as he releases it. No matter what he says about constantly fixing his films every time he releases them. There's supposed to be a Star Wars movie coming out December. December 2023. I thought you meant December 23rd this year. I'm like, yeah. I suppose I have enough time for one to come out in December of next year, but again, I'll believe it when I see a trailer. And also now I'm surprised there's a new Star Trek movie. Tell me more about this Star Trek movie, because those guys have been doing gangbusters with their programming lately. Like, considering there's going to be new Star Trek every week for, like, I don't know, until sometime this summer, probably longer, whenever Lower Decks Season 3 comes out. There's like, hey, Discovery, or no, what was it, like, what was the animated one? Prodigy. So, hey, Prodigy's on. Hey, Discovery's back. Hey, Picard's starting. Hey, Strange New Worlds is going to be here. Hey, Lower Decks is back. And it's just going to be like non-stop Star Wars or Star Trek for like the rest of the year. And I am okay with that. Of course, with the new Star Trek movie, then becomes the question of like, which universe is it going to be in? Now they've got like all these continuities and stuff going on these days. Or what year is it even going to be set in, right? Is it going to be like Discovery Future era? Is it going to be like Classic era? Is it going to be Kelvin timeline? If you like Star Trek and have not seen Star Trek Prodigy, definitely should. You're here watching me build Lego, which means maybe you've seen the Lego Ninjago TV series. But Star Trek Prodigy is made by the same people who made the Ninjago TV series, and it's fantastic. And Kate Mulgrew gets to pretend she's Robert Picardo, and it's amazing. Yeah, I was definitely like doing minimal subscriptions to Paramount Plus or trying to watch it through whatever means necessary for as long as I could, but now that they're doing Star Trek like every week for the foreseeable future, plus the Halo TV series comes out this week, I'm all on board for Paramount Plus. They got a new subscriber in me, or a full-time subscriber in me now because of that. Well, it is a bummer that you're behind, Tovepod, because there's so much good Star Trek. Like, Lower Decks is just so much fun with all the jokes they can play. I'm very interested to see Strange New World with, like, you know, going back to Captain Pike and Spock and everything. Yeah, let's hope indeed that Hayden has picked up his acting. That is pretty interesting. Like that trailer dropped while I was at Bricks Cascade for Kenobi. I think it dropped like while I was on the plane, and then Pat picked me up from the airport, and we got back to their apartment. I'm like, so I heard there's a new Star Wars trailer, and so we watched that together. And I was not expecting some of the connections from other animated TV shows to be in there. I don't know if we want to talk about that, but that was really cool to see. Although I'm with most of the internet on some of the makeup and effects on one of those characters does not look good. But I guess it kind of makes sense. But you know, just so many questions as far as like where they're gonna go with it. Like, if the Inquisitors are after Kenobi, then like how is he still free by the time of Episode 4, kind of thing. And hopefully, you know, they address all that and make a nice, compelling show. Alright, so as we've been chatting, we just built these assemblies using a bunch of these curve bricks to kind of think these are going to go like this to start making like the gradual curvature of the nose. And actually, thanks to these snot brackets, these are going to go like that. Make that really, I really like how that look. Kind of reminds me of the Clone Trooper / Mandalorian visor shape there. Let's do this up so you can get this. Comes out really sharp. Skip all these pages because I know how symmetry works, Lego. One day, you'll figure it out too. I believe in you. Also kind of curious how Hayden Christensen is going to be Darth Vader. Just with like the fact that he isn't as tall as David Prowse. Also, his voice is not James Earl Jones's, who has been Darth Vader still in other media. I wonder if like we're gonna get like flashbacks or what, but they've said he is Darth Vader, so we'll have to see. Hey there, Grayson. Yes, indeed, it is a Star War. Warring in the stars. Set is already getting so big that it's difficult to keep attaching stuff to here while keeping it in frame. I'm curious with what is going on here. Let's. There's one way to bring the camera down. It's just like this area, right? We're making this doorway here, but like this is all just gonna be ugly. So are we gonna cover that somehow? Wait, your cat is crippled? He didn't look crippled last time you were showing him off. Why have you crippled your cat? Ooh, gold polka dots. Weren't you showing him off when we did the that Bionologue stream? I don't recall him being crippled. Maybe I'm just misremembering. Maybe I'm thinking of one of the many other cats that were shown off during Bionologue's Discord chat. Oh, okay, deaf, yes. Okay, I remember your cat being deaf. Like I said, just like for me, when I heard crippled, I assumed it meant like, you know, having like an injured leg or something. See, I would say that your cat is disabled more than crippled, but maybe there is a definition one way or the other. That I'm just like using my own personal definition and not like an actual technical definition. Storky kitty. I hope you know that we use that term pretty much all weekend. Ooh. I don't know where that plate went. Oh yeah, I definitely got a lot of playtime. Especially anytime someone used another slang word. We're like, no, it's storky. Jeez, guys, get it right. Got some more doorway pieces here for the inside of the ship. The shadow of a bird. Oh, silly kidders. I'm glad he figured it out that birds are not as ominous as they may seem. Alright, Technic assembly here. Looks like that goes like so. Maybe this is going to be the attachment point for the gun turrets, or maybe just some kind of internal structure there. Alright, just about done with bag 2. I think we'll do our first giveaway. Turn that link on if you have not already entered. Go ahead, hit the link. Give us all your personal information. By that I mean your name and email address, so we can pick you as a possible winner. Why, Ari, do you want more chances to win or something? Alright, go ahead and open up our third bag. And then pick a winner. Have debts to pay? What? You better not be selling the sets I send you for free to pay debts. Neither Lego nor I would look very kindly on that. All right. So let's see who the first winner is going to be today. Oh, look, Butloaf, you're the winner. You got General Grievous. Nice. Tried to keep as many of the sets Clone Wars themed as possible. So, there you go. Well, I'm glad that worked out for you. Need to stop shaking this camera. There's some large Technic beams in this bag. Looks like we're going to be mainly focused on like the superstructure back here. Right, let's try to readjust this angle a bit. In a manner so perhaps I don't hit it as much. Locking this in. So yeah, these like 3 sections here are all like pretty nicely locked in, nice and sturdy at this point. But got a lot more work to do on this end. Alright, now it looks like we get to make a whole spine section that's going to go here, so I'll push that off to the back. Get all the Technic pins. snot brackets on here so we can cover it up in the end and make it look nice. Now it looks like we're going to be adding some, I guess, visual detail of this tower piece. I got some old school pieces here in this step. I always think of this piece as like the classic space landing gear. And I think of this one as like, I always think of this like a space seat, although I don't think it was ever actually used as like a seat in any of the classic space sets, but I remember it a lot in those sets from back then. I'm glad you agree. All right, so there we go, part of the backbone of the interior of the ship. See lots of snot brackets, which will be good for kind of covering up all the Technic bits, but also for adding additional strength. Like once you put a plate on that, it becomes even stronger, although this is not flexing at all. It doesn't even lift. Alright, and then that goes like so. So even with just like those, I don't know, like 6 studs worth of connection, I can already lift it up by this backbone piece. There you can see it in the picture down there. Whoosh. Oh yeah, and then when we actually attach some Technic beams, then I don't have to even worry about it falling off because of only those few studs of connection. You just need to get him little booties so he doesn't get his paws dirty. That's clearly the answer. I'm sure he won't hate wearing them at all. so our first printed part, we've got these 1x2 cheese slopes, little control panel printout. No idea how new or old they are. They don't look particularly new. Let's attach onto the back. I guess they're like the ramp controls or something. Oh, and it is now time for our first stickers of the day. I think the sticker sheet was not this curved when I took it out of the packaging. I guess because it was a little rainy last night, there's enough humidity in the air. Now, one thing about having the stickers on transparent backing is that this is supposed to be white, but you can see because of the transparent backing, a lot of the light gray makes it through, so it is not quite as vibrant there. And LEGO has even said that. I know like ambassadors have asked about stickers on white versus transparent backing, and they said, yeah, we've usually used the solid backing to make the colors more vibrant. So while the transparent stickers are definitely going to be nice for some of these elements, like for this is probably like a 2x4 tile or like a curved slope or something that has like this pattern, so it'll be really nice for that. For other things like these ones where it would have been nice for it to just be a solid color, or like these red ones, might have been nicer just to have those on a white back sticker sheet. All right, that's it for bag 3. Moving on to bag 4. Figure we're gonna build for at least 3 hours today. See how far we get. If we wanna go into a 4th hour a little bit. So we may be about halfway there. We may be a little less than halfway. Alright, but it looks like with bag 4, we're going to start by building the gun turrets, which I assume we're going to attach to these clips here, so the front gun turrets. So that'll be cool. That'll be like one of those kind of finished aspects of the set that we'll have to look at for the rest of the build. Alright, move you over there. Because apparently the 2 turrets are going to be identical, so that's nice. definitely curious to see how these turrets work out. Just building round things out of Lego is always interesting. These little rounded corner macaroni pieces. Which, in case you were wondering, this opening is the perfect fit for a Lego Dimensions disc. It'll fit in there perfectly. I think it's like 3 by 3. So this is like the socket piece for the turret. Nice, and here is how they're going to attach to those clips with a dark red riot shield piece. There's the little ball piece that is going to go in here. So you put in like 1/2, and you slide that in, and then you put the other half in, and now it can roll around. Of course, once you put something in the axle connector there, you won't be able to do like the complete free rotation anymore. It's really cool. I don't think I've ever had my hands on this piece before, because it's like usually only used in like these Clone Wars ships, and since I was not like a fan of the show when it first started airing, I wasn't buying as much Lego back then. I never got any of those back in the day. Oh, it shows it backwards. Wait a second, that connection doesn't work. There we go. All right. Oh wow, that is really secure. Yeah, thanks to like the little 1x2 rounded plate, and then I think just the angled nature of these. Once this is on here, there's like no real wiggle room. There's a little bit, but like hardly enough to talk about. You can see that goes in there. Oh, you gotta watch out for that though. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. Have I seen Power of the Dog yet? No, I can't say that I am familiar with that one. Not sure what it is. I feel like I've heard of it, but honestly can't be sure. Nope. Definitely have not seen it then. That is a great misspelling. Benedict cucumber patch. I like it. I do not watch movies all that frequently, so I'm almost always behind on the latest movies. Did watch 2 while I was out at Bricks Cascade. Watched Turning Red, which was surprisingly good. I think everyone who watched that, we all enjoyed it. And then I finally watched Sonic the Hedgehog, which was cute, but I don't feel too bad that I skipped out on it until that point. Now, I think the last new movie I saw before Turning Red, which obviously people are upset about that Disney didn't put it in theaters, but the last movie I saw in theaters was Spider-Man No Way Home. I've not seen anything in theaters since then. Honestly, I can't think of any like upcoming movies. So I'm like, oh, I need to see that in theaters until like Thor Ragnarok. Alright, time for some more stickers. Oh, is Doctor Strange out before Thor? Okay. I really hate with these big instruction books. Like how difficult it is sometimes to see like when the instructions are all the way in the middle here. Hey there, Kevin. Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed Sonic. It was definitely silly, but it was like endearing. It's like silly endearing. Like, I feel that it's probably better to set it like on Earth and come up with a plot device for that than like setting it in some other realm or land, because it makes it more relatable to a wider audience. But it definitely added to the like silliness factor, and you really had to suspend your disbelief on that. Rewatch Sonic and Brick for Virginia. Alright, am I missing something here? It says this goes here. There's clearly like a Technic pin there. Did I just forget to put an actual pin in that? Or is this just like literally supposed to rest here? No, it's not gonna just rest there. There's no pins in the instructions for this part, unless I was supposed to put one on. Oh, maybe I was supposed to put one on the last one. I do have some extra Technic pins I didn't use. That makes more sense. Yeah, Dune in theaters was definitely worth seeing. That's a bummer that you missed that, Oroki. Alright, so that now can actually attach there. There we go, starting to get some of the slanted sides. A little bit of wiggle, but depending on the other panels, that may solidify out. I started working on the panel for the opposite side, but I wasn't sure if it's going to have like the same markings and stuff, so I didn't finish that up. Yeah, if you didn't see Dune in theaters, you missed like the overemphasized bass in the soundtrack, unless you have a really good sound system at home. It was a lot. Sometimes in a good way, sometimes in a less good way. But the visuals themselves are also stunning. But they really liked having a lot of bass in that soundtrack. Definitely glad they greenlit the sequel, because we kind of need to at least see the end of the first book. I mean, can you imagine like if they'd done that with the Hobbit movies? Like they made the first one without being sure they were going to have a second. And then they're like, maybe we just don't make a second one. Because you did such a bad job with this one. Although I guess after the first Hobbit movie, they would have made a second. It would have been after the second Hobbit movie that they wouldn't want to make a third. And yeah, I feel like these days movie theaters are going to be doing anything and everything they can to get more money from people. So you can probably be rest pretty well assured that there'll be a double feature when Dune Part 2 comes out. Like I heard that AMC in some markets was testing increasing their ticket prices for the Batman, just for the Batman, not for all showings, just the Batman. Be like, well, this is, a premium blockbuster movie, so it should command a premium price. I mean, I think if the theater is good enough, like the seating is nice and stuff, like I wouldn't mind paying a premium to see like a movie in a theater, but like there's a local theater near me that's kind of a more premium theater that I almost always go to these days because their seats are comfy, it's nice and clean, they're usually pretty good about discouraging people from talking in movies and stuff. And you've got like nice comfy recliners. Like for that, like alright, sure, I'll pay a little extra for. But like your run-of-the-mill AMC theater, you know, it's like, no, I'm not gonna pay extra to see a movie in there. I know what it's like in those theaters. Alright, time for lots of stickers. Got one going on here, and then two more on these curved bits. One of the other problems with these clear back stickers is you have to be more cautious of bubbles as well. Alright, so this earthquake is going on the front. I want to dig how nicely that lines up, and that can, okay, so yeah, it can move for right now, but we're about to put that brick in there, and this still has a little bit of wiggle, but in theory, once you put some of these upper panels on, it'll keep that from moving too much. All right, once we finish with bag 4 here, we'll switch to the wide shot and kind of show off how this looks on the entire model. Once we finish for today, I'm gonna need to like leave this sticker sheet under a stack of books or something to hopefully get it to flatten out. Uh-oh. This has happened before and will happen again. Maybe if we're going to be showing it off, it'll be a good time to do a giveaway. Look at the time, we're about 2 hours in, so we'll throw that link back up there. All right. All right, so here we are after 4 bags. You can see, very sturdy so far. I can hold it from the back there, but with this last section, we got, I think, the lower part of the front done pretty nicely. So I was talking about before, we had like this cheese slope here that kind of helps blend in those panels. Hey there, Bushwookie 21. Nice to see you. And then I'm starting to get the front. So from the front, like from that part, it looks looking pretty good. It's got the adjustable turrets here. Really like how those kind of ended up. They've got some cheese slopes and stuff in here to kind of fill in the gaps as well as can be. It's not perfect, but I think for the most part, you're gonna be looking at it from the top down. And it's like the curbs will cover that up. Nice and solid so far. And yeah. So I really like how these panels lined up with the slopes on the inside there. Make that look nice and clean. I'd say the one thing is, if you look, it's kind of hard to see like on camera, but if you look down here, right, you can still see through into like this section. And as you can see on the top, it's like nothing fancy, it's all just bare Technic stuff. So a little bit bummed that you can see down there, but I don't think it's a huge deal in the big scheme of things. I think once we put more panels and stuff on, it will be pretty hidden away. All right, let's go ahead and open up our next set of bags, and then we'll pick our second winner. Lots more Technic themes. Oh wow, okay. So I'm like holding this thing around, I'm like, this thing's pretty big, it's nice and sturdy, but I was thinking about like, oh, the box set, it's like 27 inches long. We're not quite there yet. So bag 5 here, we're pretty much building this whole huge section that's just going to cantilever off of these back beams. So lots of technique involved. It should be pretty interesting to see how all that goes. Oh, it looks like we're going to also have the beginnings of the sliding door mechanisms as well with this bag, so that'll be cool. All right. So let's see who our second winner is today. Steve the Squid Grayson, congrats. You've won a Darth Maul buildable figure. I'll put that in the pile of other prizes you won. I didn't think about it. I could have brought those collectible minifigs you won to Bricks Cascade, but I'll definitely be packing up all that stuff that I owe people when Brick Fair Virginia comes around. If I don't see you sooner for like lug bulk sorting, so. How many sets do I own, Bush Wookie? That is a good question. I have no idea how many sets I own. I do not keep track. It would probably be a little depressing if I thought about just how many sets I've bought over the years and how much money I've spent on them. So we're going like super heavy with the Technic connections here. Which is good, because if we're going to be cantilevering over the back of the ship, I want to make sure it's a very strong build. Oh yeah, I know a lot of people really got into Lego over the pandemic. As was evidenced by the fact that it was so difficult to find certain sets. They kept going out of stock every time Lego put more up on their website. Boom, they're gone. Alright, now we get to attach that. Alright, and now we're getting closer to that final length of 27 inches. Entire room full of Lego boxes just waiting to get a house. Yep, I know that feeling. My house is pretty much full of Lego. I have a closet that is mostly full of Lego sets I've yet to build. There's a lot. I didn't realize we had the pandemic to thank for you getting back into Lego bricks there. Hey there, Box Commander. Alright, got a little angle brace there. Now with a couple Technic beams, I wonder... yeah, I don't want to fully lift it from that cantilevered section just yet, but it's pretty strong. It's getting there. Not 100% yet, though. It's not quite storky. Okay, now there's someone else in the chat who will get those references. Alright. Got some railing pieces here that we're attaching with some Exoforce hands. Not sure if those are going to be actually functional at all. Oh, did I put them on upside down? Yeah, it's supposed to be studs facing down. Not sure if something else is going to attach those, or if those are just supposed to be like handrails to hang on to, for the troops to hang on before they deploy. Yeah, that's a tale as old as time there, Bushwookie. Couldn't afford all the sets you wanted as a kid. Now you're an adult. And so now you can get all the newer, even cooler sets that come out. Or if you want to spend a lot of money, just go buy all those sets you remember from when you were a kid. For me at least though, the thing with like those older sets is as much nostalgia as I have for them, I know that they would not hold up compared to modern day sets. Set designers these days are just too good. You know, all the new pieces and stuff we've got. Like at some conventions and stuff, they'll have displays of old sets. I'm like, you know, I have nostalgia for this, but man, they're just not as good. You didn't get Bionicle as a kid, now you're an adult, you still can't afford it, yeah. It is crazy how much those things have shot up. Like, if you got a Bionicle in like 2010 or something, you're fine, because it was all cheap. These days, though. Yeah, there are definitely some of the older UCS sets that I missed, just because they were so expensive way back when, that I would love to get my hands on, but I cannot justify those aftermarket prices. They're just too ridiculous. And then again, like the designs on some of them don't hold up nearly as much. Right, like, hey, you know, we were talking earlier about how this is one of the few Star Wars UCS prequel sets out there. So like, hey, if I wanted to get that Jedi Starfighter from back in the day, had a line on it. I was at, what was it, Brick Fair, New Jersey last year, and someone was selling it, and they offered me a pretty good price for it. It is not a good piece. But it was like still just so expensive. And then you look at the designs, like, yeah, but like I know if they made a new Jedi Starfighter like next year, it would look so much better than this one. You're gonna spend as much on a replica as you did for a real one back in 2013, but it's still less than if someone stole it and you had to get a replacement. I'd say the prices can't stay high for forever, but I'm sure they can, as long as people keep buying them. As long as we somehow keep getting new Bionicle fans in the community. definitely do at least one more giveaway today, but don't need it clogging up the screen. Alright, so these are our sliding door mechanisms. So this one, make sure I got the right one on here, yep. Touch there and there. Alright, so you can see that will allow the back doors to slide forward and back. Pretty smooth. Although these arms are catching on these, but hopefully once we have like the rest of the door in place and like the beams up here are locked in more so they're not as wiggly, it'll be even smoother. Yeah, it's crazy to think about that. We used to give out prototypes like candy, and now even like non-prototype masks that are just like misprints in the wild can be crazy expensive. Oh, it looks like before I put both sides of these on, I was supposed to put this in here. Where was that supposed to go? That. There we go. All right, how are we doing on structural stability here? It's definitely very front heavy, but with all the additional technique, it's still it's getting pretty strong in the back there. All right, now building something. Looks like there's gonna go on top of here and lock that in. How many more protos are in the Andrew collection? Not a huge amount more these days. I mean, I still definitely have some, but we'll say most of the good ones have been given away. Or at least all the ones that will be given away have been given away. There's a few I'm hanging on personally. But other than that, I think it's not very exciting these days. Most of them are like the Zamor spheres and or the Avmatoran arms and things like that. Have to actually like pull them out and double check, but yeah, that's why we kind of stopped giving them out as like convention circuit perks and things like that, just because we didn't really have that many, and the ones that we had left were just like not as enticing. It's like, hey, you get a prototype part, but it is a not even the squid. What were the Mystica and Fantoka squishy things, like the shadow leeches? Yeah, it's like, hey, you get a prototype, but it's a prototype shadow leech. Good luck. Although we are going to be adding a new perk for the convention circuit this year, now that Brick Fair Pennsylvania is a thing. Zion Tyro was nice enough to donate some resin cast masks that he had made that will be given out. We'll be giving them out on the convention circuit. Pretty cool. I'll definitely be taking some pictures of them shortly and adding pictures of those to the convention circuit topic on BZPower as soon as I announce Brick Fair Pennsylvania officially as an event for that. But you can safely assume that if there's a Brick Fair, I will be there. All right. Now let's see. That goes on. There we go. Adds some nice bulk here. Still doesn't lock these beams in place on the top, but it definitely comes a long way to strengthening this section. Raffle. Yeah, that would actually be a good idea. Definitely enjoyed doing some of the charity stuff we've done over the past couple of years. Want to do more of that for sure. And yeah, that's a great idea. Just have to figure out some good charities we can donate to. Yeah, it's been pretty fantastic the past couple years, seeing the generosity from the community. We're donating for like Black Lives Matter and for gay rights and stuff like that. Like we had that one for like the Trevor Project last year. Had some great donations for that. Like people were really awesome. So can definitely do something like that in the future. Uh-oh, where are these supposed to go? Because we're just about at the end of this bag, and those are not included in... Oh, they're supposed to go somewhere on here. Oh, they go under here to hold these pieces we just attached on better. That makes sense. I guess I just missed it enough to go back like 5 pages. Yeah, we've got some other stuff that's not prototypes that we can also throw in there. That I'm sure people would be interested in, like the style guides and stuff that we've had, and some of those other charity raffles we've done. Alright, where does this go? On top of that? Yes. Alright, that is it for bag 5. Definitely be getting through bag 6 today. So if you got 17 bags, oh wow, lots of big plates here. So bag 6 is going to be the ramp in the rear, looks like. Almost entirely that. Yeah, so I'm planning that this is going to take us like 3 streams to do. So if we've got 17 bags, that's on average a little less than 6 a stream. So if we get through, I'm going to move you out of the way for now. If we get through like 6 or 7 today, that puts us on a really good pace to finish on time. Because like all bags are not equal, right? Like some of the numbers, some of them have more than one bag, so you got to keep that in mind when you're planning this stuff out. So I think I'm gonna shoot for getting through 6 and 7 today, and then we'll call it quits. And then next weekend, hopefully. Generally, my streaming pattern's been doing every other week, but I don't want to like take too long to finish this set. So hopefully next weekend I can get back and we can do some more, and then the weekend after that we'll finish. don't think I had paid very close attention to the back. I assumed that like this whole thing was going to go down, but it looks much more like this will be fixed and there's going to be a hatch that comes out. So that's kind of a cool effect. Definitely is going to add some nice, interesting mechanics to this. I think it's kind of impressive how it's all going to attach at all these crazy non-Lego angles here. So here's the actual door. Clips in there. And then, yeah, there's just two studs here that hold it closed. And then pops open. All right. There. I'm going to reinforce that connection. Why do I have an extra 1x2 plate? Oh, okay, it's not extra. Cool. I do appreciate, let's see if we can get you down depths there, that they designed this so that this the back part here is like flat on the ground, even though it is attached via these hinge plates, so you can really push down on these plates for attaching to hold it all together. That was definitely some good design work, right? That's the kind of thing that, I don't know, in my mind sets apart like a set that is designed to be sold in stores from a really cool mock that someone builds. You know, people build a lot of awesome things, but they kind of do it as a one-off, and this is something that has to be designed for, you know, dozens, hundreds, thousands of people to build. All right, and the reason I have an extra 1x2 plate is over here. We had a 1x6 plate on this side and a 1x4 on this, leaving that little pinhole exposed. So we can flip this up. And maybe slide this axle in here. Break off the gun turret. Fix that. Get in there so you can maybe see somehow that's going in. I can maybe move that back. All right, that was it for bag 6? It was pretty quick. Let's fix this gun turret. There we go. Alright, yeah, so you can kind of see. So it's attached by these hinge plates down here, and keep breaking that part off. The Technic beam here you can see is actually at a little bit of an angle. So it is not like a perfect Lego geometry, so to speak. And then from the back here, you can see that the hatch folds out. So really nice. 10 out of 10 there. All right. Okay, so yeah, we got some time. So bag 7 is apparently, again, like I was saying, some bags are more complicated than others. Like bag 6, that we knocked through that really quickly. Bag 7, we're going to be building like this entire top section, including the cockpits. So it's going to be a much more involved build there. But it looks like, I guess there's a lot of larger bricks and panels in the 2 cockpit pieces. So I don't think it's going to be too extensive. But I just don't want to go too late because I would like to eat some dinner tonight at some point. I didn't really have a big lunch, so. Alright, is this all going to be an assembly, or are we going to be attaching things? Okay, we're going to be building onto this as we go. Well, I don't know if you guys can hear that over my microphone, but it sounds like it is lawnmower season again. It's probably my favorite part about winter, not having to mow the lawn. I've been looking at mine like, when am I going to have to mow? And I don't think we're quite there yet. I think my neighbor is being too optimistic about it. Alright, more sticker time. get that kind of key orange, flame yellowish orange. Not quite a triangle, but whatever. I guess technically it is not a rhombus, just a quadrilateral? Or does quadrilateral have to be parallel? A four-sided polygon. Alright. That pops into there on these snot brackets. That one on the other side. Oh, now we have a quite involved panel here. We're doing panels on both sides. It's not quite a trapezoid though, because don't trapezoids have to have two sides that are parallel? I'm trying to remember my 9th grade geometry. Yeah, I think the best definition might just be a quadrangle. Because none of the sides are parallel, none of the angles are equal. None of the lengths of the sides are the same. was not expecting some big basic bricks in here. It looks like we're just using to create a space to attach this to the main core of the gunship, to all those snot brackets from earlier. Yeah, I must have read the instructions wrong, because there's no way that this bag is creating the entire cockpit section. But nowadays... Alright, they must have just put the wrong illustration in, because it definitely shows it there. But we are running low on parts in bag 7, and we are not at that point yet. Their PG name. It's been going pretty good so far. Things are coming along nicely. I think we're going to be wrapping them up in a little bit once we finish this section we're working on now. I think 3 hours, we've made some good progress. Ooh, and I've got a very tricky sticker coming up. So we've got this 3x3 round tile that we have to put the Republic logo on. And I think this one we definitely want to attach first before we put the sticker on, so make sure we have it lined up properly. And even in the instructions, it looks like it is not lined up very well. Screw stickers. If only. You know, I definitely understand some people love them, some people hate them. I think it's more, some people hate them, some people tolerate them. That's probably a more accurate description there. But I think for something as big as the Republic logo, like we're doing here, on a Star Wars set, that kind of have to put at least that one on. And brick separator to the rescue. Good thing I've got a cup full of them. You never use stickers except when you use stickers. Alright, let's see. if we can screw up these stickers. And if I can knock my camera in a bit. Other tricky thing with this one is you also need to get it centered on the tile. I feel like this is definitely one that should have been a printed part. Like, they printed the cockpits and stuff. Print the freaking Republic logo. Emblem, crest, whatever you want to call it. Not too bad. All right, and now get to attach these. Hopefully. Something's not lining up there. What do we got going on? That is definitely the most fragile part of the set thus far. Something there does not feel like it is fully attached. Also looks like it's kind of bendy here. That can't be right, right? This entire set isn't supposed to be bent. Or this entire panel. It definitely looks it though. Is that not properly centered? It is. Let's see how the other one looks. Did I just skip a step? I might have just skipped a step. There's probably supposed to be something else on there. Got so carried away by the stickers. Oh, yep, there it is. So, okay, that couldn't possibly be right. Now you tell me, Box Commander. After I already realized my screw up myself. I think I both of them accidentally took off that snot bracket there. Probably easier if we put that on there first. Oh, maybe not easier. There we go. Funny how much better it lines up when you do it the right way. Hey, there we go. Now we're getting somewhere. Alright, I got some more things to add to finish up this front section here. Missing a wedge plate, or am I just blind? Because there does not seem to be a matching version of this for the other side. Don't tell me it's going to be a different color on just that side. Well, I guess we're about to find out. So that's that side done. Let's follow the instructions for the things we already did. That looks the same. Unless I used a white plate somewhere where I was supposed to use a gray. No, that is readily apparent. Okay, looks like that part doesn't go on yet because we still got these Technic things here. And we need access to that before we can put it in on that side. Okay. Giveaway link is back up for probably our last giveaway for today. I guess I can say it's definitely our last giveaway for today. Alright, and that's it for bag 7. Now for bag 8 where we're, well not now, but next will be bag 8 where we really do this top section here. But not today. That will be next time, hopefully next week. Alright, let's go ahead. Switch over to there. We can take a look at this. Marker spot using the sticker sheet. Something is missing. I don't think so. I think we're good. All right, so there we go. This is 7 out of 17 bags of the gunship. Coming along quite well. It is very solid. Lift it up with one hand, move it around. See, can go upside down. No problem there. Oh no, so yeah, so I was wondering why there weren't any plates for this, for right here, but that is because we've got these red Technic connectors here. We're gonna need to put like an axle or something in that to connect this top part. So they specifically left those out, so we have access to that for later. So that is intentional. But yeah, it threw me off for a second at first too. But yeah, very, very cool. Very large. You can see I'm having a hard time fitting it in frame. My camera autofocus is going all crazy there. You can tilt it up a little bit so you have a better shot. So the front is coming along quite nicely. I love the lime green detailing. That curved thing. We've got our two little turrets here that can individually aim. We've got these nice panels along the side that are at an angle and blend in nicely with the interior there. And then on the back, we've got the start of the door mechanisms. So these will actually be attached to the doors that are all the way over here and will allow them to swing in and out. They're a little wonky right now, but once the tops of these Technic beams are locked in, that'll make this whole assembly a lot more rigid. It'll be a lot easier to swing those in and out without them catching on stuff. I've got some like little handholds there, so some nice finished details already. You know, we have quite a bit of work left to do. Got our back ramp that opens, allowing for troop access there. And of course, we've got the interior troop bay. We've got our mounting points, I believe, I'm guessing, for the little turret balls that we'll be adding in later. But yeah, all very, very nice and sturdy. You definitely want to hold it from the middle, not because it's not strong enough, but just because of the balance. Like to try to grab it from back here really like just stresses the entire body. Although you could probably pick it up from the front pretty easily. And that has enough strength to it. Although you do have to watch out for these little arches here. They're like not super well attached. They blend in well with the little sticker and the tile. They're actually not attached to like this section at all. So gotta be careful of that. And gotta be careful you don't accidentally knock off your Republic logo insignia. There we go. All right. So yeah, that is all we're doing today. Again, we got through 7 of the numbered bags out of 17. So next week we'll probably try to do like 5 or so, and then 5 the final week, depending on time. So to wrap things up for today, we'll do one more giveaway. Let's lock it up, close things off, and see who our final winner is going to be. Makuta Oroki, congratulations. You won a Django Fett buildable figure, so we'll be getting in touch with you to get your prize. So congrats to Buttloaf, Makuta Oroki, and Steve the Squid, our winners today. You should all have emails in your inbox so we can make sure you get your sets. And again, I hope I'll be back next week. But yeah, stay tuned to the BZPower front page and our social media channels for the exact details on when we'll be continuing our build of this so far cool set. All right, well, take care everyone, have a great rest of your weekend, and we will catch you next time.